When I look at a game like 5e, the WotC Dungeons and Dragons, do you know how it comes across to me? Like a Gummy Bears cartoon with demons. You might think that the WotC game designers went and watched that old D&D cartoon and said, that is D&D, that is real Dungeons and Dragons. Back in the 80s and 90s, young people, the majority, took the game serious. The old D&D cartoon simply showed that the company and people making the cartoon really didn't understand the audience. Just look at the old school TSR art style for old Dungeons and Dragons. That art style and the realism that it brought to your mind, to your imagination, that sold to young people. Clearly, you do not need to turn the game into a gummy bear cartoon with demons, which is what WotC has done. Let's talk about prejudice and hate. WotC people will say that the old, D&D from TSR, there's a lot of prejudice and hate to be found there. Yeah, they're right. There's a lot of prejudice and hate. And it drives the game. It drives what we are doing. It puts problems in a world for characters to solve. But it also brings flavor. Imagine playing a character where most towns will turn you away. Well, what is that like? It's actually interesting. You got to pay guards off. You got to watch what you're doing. You got to dress, hide your identity. The whole 9 yards. It gives you something to do. And yeah, the world isn't always going to be nice to you. Hate isn't always just prejudice, but there's always going to be hate. You need hate. Hate drives people. It drives situations. It creates the events, the stuff that we are going to go adventure and deal with. And prejudice and hate, it's very nuanced because it can be mixed into people that might be good on one thing, but they're very hateful on another. Meaning people aren't that simple. They're complicated, as the game should be. When you take prejudice and hate out, you don't have much to replace it with. It becomes ridiculous. It becomes a gummy bear cartoon with demons. I will take the old school prejudice and hate, and I'll put that into the world, and I'll let players deal with that with their characters, because it's not real. I'm not really promoting it. I just want to create drama for the characters to deal with in the game. Evil and the problems that you'll find in the world don't just happen. There's going to be something ugly behind them. But to understand them, you got to understand what is behind them. You got to learn about the ugly. So it will be presented to you as a player. But it's not presented as some type of promotion of it. It's presented as a reason behind the negative thing that you want the characters to go overcome. You want the characters to defeat the evil. Solve the problem. Help people. Do the right thing. If you eliminate prejudice and hate, you don't represent it in the game at all. Then what are you going to represent? The evil guy is mad and doing all he's doing because he doesn't like redheads? The more you try to run away from real world reasons why something might be evil, the more convoluted and bullshittery your thing becomes. I think WotC screwed the pooch with 5e. I think it was a money grab. And I think some of the people that really gave it a good push, like Matt Mercer, also got into it for the money. I can't blame them. But in 2023, it seems like people like Matt Mercer have realized that they backed the wrong horse. Because if you really backed the right horse, you wouldn't run away and try to make your own game. You're already making enough money in many other ways that you would just stick to that horse and keep riding. In my opinion, if Matt Mercer felt that he backed the right horse, they would stay with WotC regardless of any drama, and they wouldn't even attempt or even consider or make any announcement about running off to make their own tabletop role-playing game. I think the real issues in the hobby started well over a decade ago when the companies and other individual, game designers started going after things that had nothing to do with producing a good game. Oh, that company says the right political things for that ideology. We'll support it. Doesn't matter if it's bringing out a crap game. Or hey, there's that OSR guy. He's copy and pasting old D&D. So we won't bother looking at new game designers and giving them our money. We'll go over and give this guy who's copy and pasting, and putting something out. We'll give him all our money when he's doing almost nothing. And what do we get? We get gummy bear cartoon games, with demons, and then we get a bunch of clones, copycat games. I think the industry or the hobby or whatever you want to call it is screwed and tattooed. And things will have to burn down to the ground, turn into ashes before the phoenix, of recovery rises up and saves the hobby. The hobby and WotC has created an audience, a customer base that is nothing more than disgraceful. These are people that don't really respect the hobby or the game or the process, at least the majority. I'm not saying there's not a good minority, but there's a majority of new people in the hobby that spit on what we do. And they make it that it doesn't work. Why do you think we only get 6, sessions in a campaign instead of a campaign running for 2 years? There's my rambling, my talk. I just wanted to get some things off my chest for today. Okay, for now, take care. You know what you can do? You can hit the like button. You can share the video. Oh, and there's another button you can press. That one that lets you subscribe to my channel for more content. Oh yeah, there's that bell thing. You can press that so you know when I've uploaded a new video right away.